Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I have no makeup on, just fresh out of the shower. My hair, I'll be scrunching as we go because my hair is curly, and I like to scrunch as I go so it dries really well. And I'm going to be folding laundry. This is the part 3 or episode 3 of my overall health series. And we are talking about mental health today. And it was too serious of a subject for me to feel like I needed to put on all this makeup and do all this stuff. I wanted it to be as real as possible. So we are in this setting today. It's a little nerve-wracking to be doing this with no makeup, no nothing. But I think it's necessary for how real this video needs to feel and be, for me to be completely transparent with my people who are watching this video. So let's start with mental health and my experience with it. So personally, I have struggled with anxiety for years, since I was a teenager. And I remember specifically always feeling like there's something wrong with me. I went on medications and I was like, okay, let me see if I can fix this. And something that I want to say to anybody who has anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever you are struggling with your mental health, because it is a struggle, and I understand that every day is a struggle. You are perfect the way you are, and it's okay to ask for help. A diabetic needs to go and have insulin. Somebody who has a heart condition needs to have medication for that. And if you have a serotonin deficiency, you might need a serotonin inhibitor. Those things are nothing to be ashamed of. And for me, I have a chemical imbalance in my brain, and I know that for me, that is really affected by what I eat and how I handle situations. And so I just want to start off there saying there's nothing wrong with you. You have a health condition. It is really important when you have a health issue like this to check in with yourself. Oh, also really quickly, this big shelf is something I'll be making next. So it's over there because it's huge and I can't move it really easily by myself, so it stays there. But I want you, if you have this kind of a health condition, to make sure that you're going and getting the help that you need. If you were a diabetic, you would need to make sure you had your insulin and check in with your doctors to make sure your health was fine. For me, with ulcerative colitis, I have to make sure that I'm always constantly checking in with myself, and your mental health should be the exact same. Whether it's, like a friend, a therapist, a family member, whoever, please find somebody who can be your advocate for you and help you come out of those areas, because it's going to be a cycle. It's going to be some really hard days and some really bad days. And with most issues with mental health, like with anxiety, especially depression, your face might not look like you are depressed. But then a few days later, your family might have seen that you harmed yourself, and they would have never known, because you can put on a smile, but that doesn't change how you feel inside. Now, no, I'm not trying to act like an expert on this, because this is something that I am dealing with now, and it's become something that I am very passionate about. And I think that the best way to learn about these things is to educate yourself, to read books, to listen to podcasts, and always check in with yourself. And if there's something in your life that is not helping your mental health, then make a change. I'm all about, everything is figure outable, and everything has the opportunity to either be fixed or have the opportunity to change. So make the changes necessary so that your mental health is intact, because your mental health is the most important thing in the world. You can't, if you are empty, you can't fill somebody else up. So you have to work on you first. It's super easy for us to, my socks fell. It's super easy for us to get caught up in what we're supposed to do, how families are supposed to look. We have these expectations, and then we get really upset when those expectations aren't met. But I think that part of dealing with mental health is dealing with where you're at now, and not looking too far ahead and taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 week at a time. taking it slow steps to get to where you need to be. And then when you're in a happy place, figure out why you're happy, figure out what's happening that's in your life that's good and positive, and keep those things going. It's always going to be a struggle. It's going to be a constant struggle for me. There are some days where I'm like, I have my anxiety totally in check, and then out of nowhere I have a huge panic attack, and I get really shaky, and I get really like my body goes into like shock almost, and I literally start physically shaking and can't stop, and I have so much adrenaline and I can't sleep, and then I don't feel tired the next day because I'm still so filled with adrenaline. And so I use CBD oil to help stop the shaking, because for me that type of medication works best for how I would like my body to work. But it's still something I have to do for myself to make sure that my body is in check and my head is in check, and I can be the best person I can for my family. The next thing I can say is, like, let's say that you have a family member or a friend or a loved one who is struggling with this. Be their advocate, which means, and this is something I'm learning even now, is kindness and understanding. You need to look at that person with eyes of love and eyes of compassion and empathy, and not sympathy. Don't sympathize, don't like pity them, because that's not fair, because you would want somebody to do that to you in that situation. But you need to look at them with eyes of how like you would want someone to look at you if you were going through a hard time. And that's how you also need to look at yourself if you're going through something like this, because it is really important for you to always remember that you are loved, you are important, and you are special. Even when you don't believe it, know that people do love you, that they want you to be happy, and that you are actually never alone. There's helplines, and if you are suicidal or if you have had those thoughts, please contact somebody and get help that you need. The dog is here. Come here. Oof, my baby. Oh, my baby. Oh, 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 oh. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people don't know this. It's kind of funny that she's here. My dog is my emotional support dog. She, for me, for dealing with things, look how crazy my hair is, but as it's drying, it gets crazy. My dog, for me, has gotten me through some of the hardest times in my life. This love, this unconditional love, having to get up, having to take care of something. Now that I have my son, that's really good too. And she's just been an unwavering love and support in my life, and it's been really important. So if you are struggling with mental health, or if you maybe find emotional support animal, find something that you can put your energy to. Maybe occupy your mind with things like reading and educating yourself, and even going back to school, and find a way to not live in those dark thoughts, because they are lying to you. That's the thing about depression and anxiety and mental health that I've learned, is that those thoughts are not always going to be truthful, and that you need to work through those and have somebody who's going to work through those with you. This whole last week for me has been a really big mental health wake-up call. I'm not going to go into detail because that's very personal for my family and for my friends, but this is the video I was going to make before, and I was going to make it very differently, but I'm glad that this is the video I can make now, and I hope that it helps other people to look at others and yourself with eyes of love and eyes of compassion. And it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to be in pain, and it's okay to ask for help, and you have to. I don't want this video to be too terribly long, and I would like this conversation to be really open and honest. Please comment in the comment sections about things that you do in your life that help you with your mental health, and please try to keep spreading love. Just spread love and try not to be so critical. That's one of my biggest flaws, is I'm very critical of others, and I voice those things. I'm very aggressive, and I'm really trying to change that in myself, and trying to see people and let them know how loved and how valuable they are, because every person is so valued and is so important. And that's how I think that if more people saw the world as oh, people matter, everybody matters, I think that we would have a lot less hate and a lot less sadness and a lot less people wanting to hurt themselves. So I hope that this video was something that you guys like. I hope this helped somebody out there, because what I've learned has really helped me. And I'm going to do an update on this and talk about some of the books that I have really helped me with my anxiety and mental health, and I would love for you guys to leave those in the comments below. If you guys have not subscribed and want to continue watching this series, I'm going to talk about spiritual health and physical health and emotional health, because to me this one goes along with emotional health, but also there's more to emotional health. I think it goes along with spiritual as well. Anyway, I hope that you guys like this video. Subscribe if you have not yet, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.